What's happening, everyone? My name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the latest e-bikes from G-Force. The one that we have here, it's called the G-Force RS. Now, depending where you are buying this bike, you may see that the motor is a 250 watt motor or a 750 watt motor. Personally, I have the version that has a 750 watt motor and a 15.6 amp hour battery. You can also pick up this bike with a larger capacity battery. So if you wanna go for longer rides, I'm talking about over 100 kilometers, maybe you should get that version with a larger capacity battery. Now, the bike itself is fairly heavy, so we are looking at about 36.5 kilos for this version that has the smaller battery pack, and over 40 kilos with the other version that has the larger battery pack. So it really depends what you need, but the bike is not that light. As you can see for yourself, this is kind of like a cargo e-bike with fat tires. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of these bikes lately, but this one does look a bit different, and that has a lot to do with the bike's frame. And of course, what the manufacturer calls the magic suspension. So the suspension on this bike is definitely better than most other cargo e-bikes that I got to try in the past. And when you combine that with the fat tires, we have the front suspension, we have the rear suspension, even the seat here has springs. You do get a very comfortable ride. So it doesn't matter if you are riding off-road, if you are riding over bumps or anything like that, you do get a very comfy ride and not bumpy at all. As I mentioned earlier, the bike is powered by a 750 watt motor located in the rear wheel here. Now, for power, you do have plenty of power in pretty much any situation. It doesn't matter if you're riding on a flat road like this or if you're going uphill, you do have plenty of power. Now, the bike is also equipped with a speed sensor. So basically, after you start pedaling a couple of times, the bike will give you power. And the bike is also equipped with a throttle here. So if you don't want to pedal, you can basically just accelerate with that throttle, and you don't really have to do any effort at all. So it really depends how you want to ride the bike, but if you're just going for a leisure, well, kind of like a ride, you don't necessarily have to put any effort into pedaling. Now, the bike is also equipped with hydraulic disc brakes. These are 180 millimeter disc brakes, and they do seem to work quite well, even though they do make a bit of noise when you're braking, but not all the time, only sometimes. Now, the way the bike is designed, and I guess it really depends how tall you are, for me this bike does seem a bit small, and that has a lot to do with the handlebar. I kind of wish the handlebar would have been a bit higher, because as the handlebar is right now, I do feel that I have to lean forward a bit. So I would have loved to see this handlebar just a bit higher, because it would have made my riding position straighter, therefore more comfortable. So keep that in mind if you are tall. I am 183 centimeters. If you're tall, this bike may seem somewhat small. Since we are talking about the handlebar, yes, the handlebar is wide enough. The grips here do seem to move a bit. We have our brake levers here, and in the center here we have our screen. And I'm very happy to say that the screen can be seen in any condition. So it doesn't matter if it's a super bright day out or if you're riding at night, you can always see that screen. On the front here and on the back, we also have lights. The light on the front is bright enough to be seen during the day, and of course bright enough at night. And the rear light here also acts as a brake light whenever you pull the brake levers. The bike is also equipped with a 7-gear Shimano shifting system. So if you don't want to use the motor at all, if you don't want to use the battery pack, you can literally just ride this as a regular bike just by pedaling and shifting gears up and down. Talking about shifting gears up and down, I did have to adjust that a bit when I took the bike out of the box. So it wasn't properly adjusted. I wish it would have been done better, but at least it's very easy to fix. And of course, if you're gonna have to ride this bike when it's raining, the bike is also equipped with plastic mudguards on the front and on the back. These are made out of plastic. Luckily, they don't make any noise whenever you're riding, even if you're riding on uneven terrain, let's call it. And they do seem that they would protect you from splashing. Personally, I haven't actually been out to the bike when it's raining, but they do seem like they would be helpful. Alright, so riding this bike is also super easy. Our power button is right here. You hold this press for about 3 seconds or so, and from here you change assistance levels. For this test we'll do maybe assistance level 2. So we have the throttle right here. You can accelerate without pedaling, but if you don't want to use the throttle, you can start pedaling and the bike will start assisting you. So the bike is equipped with a speed sensor. So you basically start moving, then the bike will feel that and will give you power. So first I'm going to show you how it goes by accelerating with the throttle. So kind of like a motorcycle. So you don't have to do anything. You just accelerate with the throttle. That easy. And the other way of going, you start pedaling and then the bike will start assisting you. Since we have dual suspension, of course, you can ride over roads like this, no problem whatsoever. You don't really feel anything. The bike is extremely comfortable as well. And since we have the fat tires, of course, those help as well. We'll do a bit of a brake test here. So from about 17 kilometers an hour. So decent brakes. We'll go to assistance level 4, just so I can get some speed. And we'll do another brake test in just a second. So from about 25 kilometers an hour. So if you want, you can definitely lock that rear wheel. The only thing I'm not a fan of, I'm not sure if you can hear that noise. There is a bit of noise coming from the front wheel. I have to see, maybe I have to adjust a screw or something. I haven't had a chance, but there is a bit of noise coming from that front wheel. Other than that, the bike is fairly quiet and very comfortable, as I said. So this easy riding a bike like this, and when you don't feel like pedaling, you always have the throttle. The shifter also seems to work good, shifting gears up and down. So that easy riding this bike. So to quickly conclude this video, if you're looking for a cargo e-bike with fat tires, a bike that looks different, because this one definitely looks different than most other cargo e-bikes available on the market, well, this is a pretty good choice, even though this is not exactly a cheap bike. And as I said, if you're taller like me, it may not be the most comfortable, mostly because the handlebar here is not that high. But I guess if you're a bit shorter, you would fit perfectly on this bike. And overall, it is a very well made bike. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.